Good afternoon, I'm Rennie Workman. As we prepare to celebrate our nation's 250th birthday, we're highlighting people, organizations, and places that embody the spirit of America as part of a series titled Red, White, and You. From becoming the youngest female mayor in the country at just 20 years old to now leading Pennsylvania's celebration for America's 250th birthday, a woman from Exeter has spent nearly 2 decades in public service. Newswatch 16's Valeria Quinones sat down with Cassandra Coleman as she shared the journey that brought her from her small borough to the head of America 250 PA.
Here inside the Exeter Borough Building on Wyoming Avenue, President of America 250 PA, Cassandra Coleman, remembers how her career started in this very building nearly 20 years ago.
My grandfather was a longtime public servant, over 30 years, council president and then mayor of Exeter. And out of 9 grandchildren, I was the only one who kind of got bit by that political bug.
Coleman's grandfather, Joseph Coyne, served as Exeter mayor for 11 years, up until his passing in 2008. That is when, at just 20 years old and still a junior at King's College studying political science, Coleman took over as mayor of her hometown, fulfilling one of her grandfather's last wishes. At the time, it made her the youngest female mayor in the country.
I was actually Exeter Borough's junior council representative while my grandfather served as mayor. So we have these amazing pictures of him actually swearing me in to junior council and then me being sworn in to his term. And those are, of course, bittersweet moments, but amazing memories.
Coleman admits being a young female mayor didn't come easy.
And now seeing so many females putting themselves out there, putting their names on the ballot, whether they win or lose. You know, I think it really has shifted, and to see that pendulum swing from 20 years ago when I was usually the only female in the room, it's been amazing to watch.
After resigning from her position as mayor in 2015, Coleman moved on to open her own agency, Coleman and Associates. She then later worked for former Governor Tom Wolf, spearheading the Cabinet in Your Community project.
We visited 36 communities, bringing cabinet secretaries from Harrisburg into communities to ensure that community voices and issues and concerns were heard.
It's projects like that that ultimately led to her current position, President of America 250 PA, tasked with creating an impactful celebration for America's 250th birthday this July. 8 years in the making, the commission has led educational and commemorative projects across the state, like Coleman's favorite, the Elk County Bell Project.
They actually took their bell to every elementary school in their county, over 4,000 students in Elk County, including homeschool students, and had them put their hand in paint on that bell.
Coleman says knowing she's helping inspire future generations is what it's all about, including her 11-year-old son.
And to be able to, leave that impact and that legacy for him, he's now telling people he's going to run America 300.
What Coleman has helped build for years in honor of America's 250th birthday will cap off with America 250 PA's Commonwealth Concert Series, taking over Wilkes-Barre, State College, Erie, Hershey, and Pittsburgh this summer. Valeria Quinones, Newswatch 16, Luzerne County.
In Lycoming County, a 96-year-old Korean War veteran is still doing his part to serve our country by making sure every serviceman and woman is buried with dignity and respect. Newswatch 16's Mackenzie Ocker introduces us to Howard Wilt.
Meet Howard Wilt.
We started out in 97 practicing to do the operation honorably and correctly.
Wilt is a 96-year-old Korean War veteran, giving back to those who served by holding military funerals in Lycoming County. He and other Honor Guard members held the first service in July of 1999.
That was number 1. This past week we just did number 2054.
And counting. Wilt served in Korea from 1951 to 1952, starting out in the artillery, then went on to be a staff sergeant, still continuing to serve, but in a different way.
The Korean War veterans' motto is, we still serve. And we do. I mean, we'll do anything we can for it. We've helped people out, financially. We've bought things for them, we paid bills for them.
Wilt tells us no matter which branch someone served in, the Honor Guard will provide a proper send-off for them.
It's something that makes you feel good to know you're doing the right thing and showing that it can be done, and people should remember this.
Wilt says it's important to honor and recognize our veterans.
There are people coming out of the active military that have no place to go, nothing, no means of income or anything, and they're in bad shape. And we got to have organizations that take care of those people because they gave a portion of their life to keep this freedom.
Wilt says for as long as he can breathe and move, he'll continue to honor and serve those who gave their all for our country. Mackenzie Ocker, Newswatch 16, Williamsport.
Well, the next time you drive down the main drag in this borough, you'll see the faces of some local heroes. Still to come on Red, White, and You, how these Hometown Heroes banners came to be. For the first time, a borough in Columbia County is looking to fill its main street with banners honoring hometown heroes. Newswatch 16's Justin Gick takes us to Berwick.
This is the first of many hometown hero banners that will line Front Street and hopefully many other streets in the borough of Berwick. The FTC Teen Center in Berwick, the borough, and the VFW are all partnering together on this initiative. Danielle Pearson, Director of Operations for the FTC Teen Center, says in the past they were looking for ways to honor veterans throughout the community.
And have been working on ideas for a while now, but never really found the right way to do that. So then the VFW and the borough was able to come to us with this opportunity to a meeting and bring it up, and they just thought it was the perfect fit.
Teresa Peters, the borough's Director of Government Services, says this is the first time Berwick has done this kind of an initiative. She says they thought this would be a great year to really get this up and running, especially with America's 250th birthday in July.
Our Department of Public Works will be the ones who will be installing the banners throughout the community. And I think it's just really important to note that these people served our country and our community, and it's just a great year to recognize their value to our community.
There's no limit as to how many of these hometown hero banners that the borough will put up. They want as many as they can get. It doesn't have to just be a veteran. It can be police, fire, EMT, or even a teacher.
We're working with a local company. It's a red and blue theme with some flags on it. It'll have their picture on it as well as their title, where they served, what they did if they're not in the military, and then if the family wants to list a sponsored by family, they can do that as well. But they are really pretty banners.
There has already been a good response to this initiative and many orders placed for the banners. Peter says they will go all the way down Front Street, but they might also turn on Market or other areas depending on how many requests they get.
Obviously, we really care about our veterans and we stand behind them 100%, or anybody currently serving the military. But we also want to honor those who have made a really great impact in our community over the years as well.
The Hometown Heroes banners cost $250, and as of right now, Peter says they will stay up indefinitely. To find out how you can purchase a banner, head to WNEP.com. Justin Gick, Newswatch 16, Columbia County.
It's the only family-owned NASCAR track, and it's right here in our area. Still to come on Red, White, and You, how Pocono Raceway has kept it in the family for decades. Every year, NASCAR brings tens of thousands of race fans to Monroe County. For decades, the Tricky Triangle has remained a family-run business. Newswatch 16's Emily Kress takes us to the track to learn more about the family legacy at Pocono Raceway.
The grandstands are empty and the track is quiet here at Pocono Raceway near Long Pond. But in just a few weeks, that silence will be broken as NASCAR drivers start those engines.
And the green flag drops for the Cup Series race on Sunday. And so the energy is at its peak at that moment. So when you stand there and you look at full grandstands, you look at smiling faces, you look at blue skies, that's a moment of pride.
The track got its start in the 1960s, founded by doctors Joseph and Rose Mattioli. Their grandson, Nick Adolski, says what started out as a real estate deal with other investors became their own venture.
And Doc ended up buying them all out over time. And this is why today we have the triangle shape and the road courses then within the interior of the facility.
Doc passed away in 2012, followed by Rose in 2020. Since then, Igdalski has taken over to continue the family legacy as the only family-owned and operated track in all of NASCAR.
I don't see myself as anything but a steward of their legacy, and both at the track and the memories that we give the people in the community that come visit here.
And you look at who we are with our founder Doc, having served, and you know, it started there for us. The bald eagle has always been on our trophy, and that has just carried on. This is our 53rd year on the NASCAR Cup Series schedule.
For families that travel to the track each year, the event is rooted in tradition. The infield campground is once again sold out of all 3,000 sites. Igdalski says the infield culture has turned into a family affair, setting Pocono apart from other tracks.
And that's because we just offered simple community-style amenities like the dog park, like the activities and welcome center, like the inclusive playground. There's something for every single age group, from small child all the way up to grandma.
NASCAR weekend at Pocono Raceway is set for June 12th through the 14th. Emily Kress, Newswatch 16, Monroe County.
A discovery in upstate New York leading to a final resting place for soldiers from our area. We'll head to the memorial service next on Red, White, and You. Nearly 250 years since America's founding, the remains of 44 Revolutionary War soldiers were laid to rest. They were found in 2019 at a construction site in upstate New York. But as Newswatch 16's Melissa Steininger explains, one tiny detail connects these Continental soldiers to our part of Pennsylvania.
Along the shores of Lake George in the Adirondack Mountains, the sound of a young nation still echoes nearly 250 years later. And carried on that path are the brave soldiers bearing the bodies of a nation not yet born.
It's important for us as Americans to remember this and remember we're always changing, we're always growing, we're always learning as a country, as a people. And it's important we do this together, as a country and as a people.
Their stories, first uncovered during a construction project in Lake George in 2019. More than 70 truckloads of dirt revealed the hidden history underneath.
I think it was over 8 months just sorting through over 800 teeth that were just loose.
Kyle Savage of Scranton happened to be vacationing in Lake George at the time and joined in on the dig.
Just grabbing bucketful, gallon buckets, and I would just dump them, and they were shaking it, and they would just be, jawbone, mandible, kneecap.
It took nearly 7 years by the New York State Museum to connect the bones to 44 men with the Continental Army, believed to have died of smallpox at a hospital in Lake George in 1776. But a tiny break in the shape of a button blew the mystery wide open.
We won the archaeology lottery by having the one individual with the 1st Pennsylvania Battalion buttons right on there.
At least one of the soldiers was connected to the 1st Pennsylvania Battalion, a frontline regiment that has ties to Northumberland County.
For whatever reason, this person was buried in his uniform. It was the only clue we had that this was actually a cemetery dating to the American Revolution.
A life cut short by disease, and a story almost lost to time.
They were in the Battle of Quebec. They went up the East Coast with Benedict Arnold. The Pennsylvania Regiment joined Lexington and Concord soldiers, and that was the first shot heard around the world.
For generations, the stories of these soldiers buried beneath the earth. Now they're reinterred here at Lake George Battlefield Park, a symbol for each soldier.
It's important to think about how lucky we are to be here right now, and these soldiers that we laid to rest today are the reason why we're here.
One box draped with the 1st Pennsylvania Battalion flag, a symbol once carried into battle, now carried into burial.
Painted on it, the arrows represent each of the 13 colonies tied together with a single idea, freedom.
A quiet reminder that freedom was here on this land long before us. Now that sacrifice for freedom lies here in its final resting place. Melissa Steininger, Newswatch 16, Lake George, New York.
A woman found her parents' love letters dating back to World War II. And our John Meyer got a look at the love story for himself. We'll get lost in the letters next here on Red, White, and You. A big surprise for a woman in the Poconos, discovering more than 100 love letters her mom wrote her dad during World War II. Her dad never got them. Her family members knew nothing about them. But now they're reading quite a love story and sharing it with John Meyer on the Pennsylvania Road.
My dearest Jack, hello sweetheart, how are you? Gee darling, I wish this war was over and you were coming home. What a wonderful day that will be.
Kathy Filer of Gouldsboro reads the words her mother wrote to her dad 81 years ago.
Our wedding day will be the most big day. Do you think you're nervous? I know I will be. Isn't that sweet?
More than 100 letters Mary Jane Peel from Philadelphia sent to John Lynch in the Army Air Corps at the end of World War II. For some reason, John never got them. Somehow, they turned up at a military auction in Kentucky 5 years ago.
Out of the blue, this man called us and said that he had a letter. My sister-in-law Rita said, well, I'm not interested, and hung up on him.
She thought it was a scam, but the man who bought those letters pushed on.
He was persistent, and then he went through Ancestry and he found my nephew Scott, and he sent him, and then he said, yeah, well, send me a copy. And he sent it, and we knew right away it was hers because of the handwriting.
What they got was a bundle of family history, unopened letters that opened the eyes of Kathy and her siblings.
So we opened a couple to read them, and like I said, we found a side of my mother that none of us ever knew.
Letters filled with language of love they never heard from their mother.
She was like gooey and gowy with him. Not with us, but with him. She definitely was. And it's amazing to read it. Because like I said, she wasn't the lovey-dovey person that I knew. But she sure was with him. She must have felt head over tin cups.
The letters and this newly learned love story now told in a scrapbook Kathy and her daughter Kelly can share.
How about, it sure was swell walking along the country road with you than riding home in the back of the truck. Just like little things like that.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that wonderful?
Even the expressions, hello darling, hello sweetheart. Who talks like that? It's beautiful.
But with the family curiosity came their respect for privacy.
Have you read through everyone?
No.
No?
No, and I don't want to. That's their love letters. I wouldn't want my kids reading my love letters. Would you want your kids reading your love letters?
No.
John died young in 1965. Mary Jane died in 2002. Now their lives and their love revived 8 decades later.
I love you. I love you. I love you. Sweetheart, if you're in all my dreams, love, sweetheart, Mary.
And each one sealed and now preserved with a kiss. John Meyer, Newswatch 16 on the Pennsylvania Road in Wayne County.
That's it for Red, White, and You. Remember, Newswatch 16's always on at WNEP.com and the WNEP app. Download on your devices and stream free 24/7. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day and happy Independence Day.